Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm here with Absoloot, comic book creator, recording artist, and community leader here in South Florida. Wanted to tell you about him, his book, and chat about some of the things that he's reading. One of the things that's really cool about books is the story and the message that they provide, but sometimes it's really cool to know the story behind the book, the person, and what makes them tick. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I wanted to ask you, what are you reading? We're here at Phil's Comic Shop.
Yes.
Here in Margate, Florida. Wonderful place, so thank you to Phil and to Bryan for allowing this to happen. That's the books you see here in the background. This is what came out this week, past couple of weeks. Anything in particular that you're reading, or what are some of your favorite stories?
Well, this is my second home, so of course, yeah, thank you, Phil, Bryan. I'm a big Thanos fan, big Hulk fan, so anything Thanos, anything Hulk, I'm picking up. I'm always looking for something new, so I'm definitely reading through those two right now. I'm looking into Captain Marvel a little bit because I want to see what happens in the next Avengers.
Get prepped up for the
movie,
right?
I got to get prepped. Yeah.
All right. So talking about movies, you said Thanos. Did you see Infinity War? What did you think of it?
I loved it. Like I said, I'm a big fan, so seeing just how powerful he was, I thought it was cool. You know, to finally see it on the big screen and from reading about Thanos and his character from a child and finally actually seeing them make a movie, I thought it was amazing. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it was definitely an amazing movie. You mentioned the Hulk. I don't know if you're reading this. This is the Immortal Hulk.
Okay, no, not yet.
Yeah, Al Ewing story.
Cool.
It's a different take on Hulk that we've had in the past. Kind of goes back to some horror roots and some of the old like Jack Kirby stuff. So if you're interested in, you know, a newer take on Hulk than what we've gotten recently, it might be worth checking out for you.
Cool.
If you like
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I'm gonna set this aside. I always, every time I leave, I take something with me. So
nice.
Definitely will be getting this one.
Cool. And another person I want to recommend to you.
Okay.
This is The Death of Inhumans, but this is by Donny Cates. Donny Cates has been doing a lot of stuff with Venom. He's done some independent stuff with like Image, and he's like the hot guy right now, so to speak. Like he's the one. It's a really good story, so I recommend.
You know, I saw this cover when I walked in. I thought this was super cool. I haven't gotten to this just yet. Death of the Inhumans. So I'm excited to see what this is.
Yeah. I think you would like that. I really like Donny Cates as a writer. So.
Cool.
And if you wanted to, we're talking about Infinity War. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Infinity. I know we had talked about this briefly. These are both part of the same story.
Right.
The first and the last issue. This is by Jonathan Hickman. He writes really complicated, sort of high concept stories. He worked on Fantastic Four before it came out. But you got your Thanos in there.
Yes, gotta have Thanos
right on the cover.
Yeah, Thanos.
Yeah,
and the Hulk.
Right, exactly. And this is the story where they introduce the children of Thanos, the Black Order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you'd like that.
So I just started reading a little bit, getting a little bit more information about the Black Order as well. So I know they're going to realize that you're kind of giving me some information here. So he's giving me some homework to help me out a little bit and help my stories grow as an author. So I appreciate that.
That's right. I'm trying to recommend some like really good people that I like as writers and creators, and I think that you'll like these as well. But you did say Thanos, and you did say Hulk.
The absolute favorites. Yes.
So what better than Thanos versus Hulk? Come on, man. There you go.
Yeah.
Have you read that or?
No, not yet. I will be reading this. Yeah, man.
It's pretty cool, right?
Do I have to come up with? Do I have to do like a book report, or is it just?
Yeah, I'm gonna need 5 pages.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. You don't need that.
Okay,
Just
cool,
have fun with it. All right, so cool. So that's a few things. A lot of great stuff here at Phil's Comic Shop. But enough about the other books. Let's talk about your book. So basically we're going to talk about your book.
Yes.
This is really what I want to get into. I love all the new stuff coming out, but we're here to talk about your book. So this is The Adventures of Junior and Rubble, first issue. I wanted to ask you, and I know you do, you know, music, and you're very creative and artistic in that way, but what inspired you to get into comic books? Has that been something you've always read? Yeah, since you were young?
I've been just a big fan of the comic books since I was very young. I didn't like reading. The only thing I would really read were comic books, right? And so I actually created a lyric book in comic book style, and that was the first comic book that we created. It wasn't really a story, it was just kind of following the lyrics of a song that we had out at the time called American Soldier. And it was kind of like a soldier's flight and coming back after the war and the things that they had to deal with. And then we got such great reviews from that and the images that we decided to create an actual story and began creating our own comic books. And that's kind of where that began. And I'm a huge fan of comic books. I've always been. And so to be able to create something that I can kind of call my own in a way is just amazing to me.
Right, exactly. That's what a lot of people would love to do, is see their name on the cover.
Yes.
That's a pretty amazing thing. So I got to read a few of these. I did read this, awesome. The Oil Monster. Really cool story. One of the things with books these days is representation.
Right, yeah.
When I was growing up, I was reading things like the Claremont one. It was X-Men, and it was talking about some of the social issues around racism and different things like that. But it wasn't very in your face with it.
Right.
But it was still something that a lot of people could identify with. And I saw that here. We have a lot of things with tragedies, for example. 9/11, there's a really famous Spider-Man story dealing with that. And back in, it was 2010, right? It was in Haiti with the earthquake. Right. And that was included in your story. So there was representation there, representation with Haiti and Haitian culture, with the food. Really good.
Yes,
Maybe want some plantains that's in here.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about that and drawing that representation into the book?
Yeah, definitely. So I work a lot with the youth, and so in working with the youth, one of the things, like you said, is that they lack is representation, right? And so when they don't see someone that looks like them who can do great things and someone that's doing something positive, it can create difficult situations in their actual life when they don't get to see that. And so I thought it would be cool to kind of create a character that represents them in a way. And so it has to do with myself, some of my best friends, and a lot of the youth, kind of creating a character that represents us all. And so the character Junior in the comic book is Haitian American.
That's Junior.
Right.
His best friend Rubble.
Rubble is his dog, and so growing up, we've always had Akitas in my family, and so that's why he has an Akita, and so his Akita is like his best friend. So that's kind of me growing up, right? Yeah. And so the cool thing about it is that Junior gets his powers during the earthquake. But slowly he begins finding out that he does have powers. He doesn't, as the comic book starts off, he doesn't realize that he has powers.
Right. He keeps saying, "What is happening? Like, what's going on here?"
He has no idea what's going on. And so throughout the first edition, which is the Oil Monster, he starts realizing he has these powers. And then his best friends start to see that as well, that somehow he's changing, and then eventually they end up realizing that they begin getting powers as well, kind of from him in that association to him, which is a cool thing. So we just wanted to kind of represent everybody in this area, right? And so Florida is really a melting pot. South Florida, mainly. It
truly is, yeah.
And so we wanted to show that in the comic books and give you the best of all these different worlds that we get to interact with down here on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah, and being predominantly coastal area.
Right.
There's a lot of issues associated with that, with poaching, with pollution.
Yes.
And that's a big important part of this as well.
Yes, right? Correct. Yeah. So one of the things with Junior, his main issue is the pollution. And so that's something that he and his friends start to tackle, trying to clean up their community, right? And so they see the issues of oil on the beach. They see the issues of the plastic in the water, and so they're trying to do their best to clean that up and find out who's actually behind these disasters. I guess
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things, the reason I mentioned the whole X-Men run and that part of it was that these things are dealt with in the story, in the book.
Correct.
They're talked about. They're part of the plot, but it's not done in like a preachy way, so to speak. And that's something that's I found sort of lacking in some of the newer comic books that are out. So that was really refreshing to have those.
Oh, thank you.
That
content means a lot coming from you, because I don't know it as much as the comic book world as you. So when you or Bryan says something, I really take that to heart. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
I definitely like that. You know, it's important to bring these up, but in a way that's left for the reader to pull from it what they want. So, you know. So
Correct. Right.
I think you did really great with that. And you've gone around to, you know, schools, libraries, that type of thing to get this book out there. What's that been like for you?
Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing because, like I said, I never really saw myself as, I guess, a comic book creator. So as a child, I loved to read them, but seeing yourself doing it is a little bit different than right. actually reading the comic books. So to be able to actually travel and talk to the youth about some of the issues that we're going through today, you know, I think it's just amazing, you know, to talk about pollution, you know, and see how they view the world and some of the issues that we're facing. And so I tried to write these from the point of view of a teenager, so it's not very preachy, right? So I didn't want to come off as I'm trying to preach to somebody. I wanted them to kind of follow along with the storyline and at least be able to understand where the actual character is coming from. So being able to speak to the youth about that, kind of give my point of view, and then also allow them to tell me what they think, you know, and so we're doing some cool things now where we're going to actually allow some of the youth to begin writing some stories and help them publish those stories as well. So, I mean, it's just amazing.
That is amazing, yeah. You know, these are the folks that are going to be continuing along those causes and, you know, the ones that are going to be carrying those forward as they grow up into adults.
Correct.
But also, this is a perfect way for them to read, to learn how to read, to grow their reading skills. So, I mean, that's really amazing that you're able to get in there and you're kind of like you're teaching them, but at the same time, maybe they don't quite realize they're being taught.
I hope not.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
like I said, I did not like reading because it always felt like something I didn't care for, right? And so I love comic books because of the action, the storylines, the plots, right? And so I love to read when it was something I was interested in. So we try to make it to where it's something that is action-packed, right? But also there's the literacy aspect, as you pointed out, which is very important for us. So it's actually written a little bit different than your normal comic book, right? And so it flows a little bit differently, and we did that purposely because we wanted to touch more on the literacy aspect with these comic books, as well as the issues that the characters are going through.
Right, absolutely. And I saw that you teamed with LifeSportsFitness.
Yes, LifeSportsFitness. They are actually a nonprofit located here in Fort Lauderdale. They do amazing work, and so they have after-school programs. So we started actually creating anti-bullying comic books together. So we have an anti-bullying comic book entitled Keep Dreaming. So shout out to Jared Campbell, Desmond Dogan. They're like my brothers. We do everything together. We even made it out to Haiti for the launch of this one. Right. So the third edition, and they got on stage and performed with me. I mean, I love those guys. They're amazing. Awesome. We have a lot of fun together. But yeah, LifeSportsFitness does amazing work. So you can actually check them out. It's lifesportsfitness.org. And you can see some of the work that we're doing from literacy to robotics.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's a good spectrum.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah, well, I'm really happy to hear that you're using this platform. I know you're a creator, you know, at your heart, right?
Right, yes.
But being able to use that to deliver a message and to kind of do good and you kind of, you know, being that change that you want to see in the world. That's a famous quote, right? Right. Is it really blessed that you have that platform, you're able to do that. So definitely keep up the good work there and, you know, keep pushing forward. So what can we expect from future volumes for this?
Okay, so we have the 3 now, which was a lot, right? So we're working on the 4th now. We also have a cyberbullying comic book that we'll be coming out with, and so Jared, actually the founder of LifeSportsFitness, actually helped me create this one. So it's cool for all of us to kind of, you know, start playing a role in this and start creating our own stories and kind of telling these stories. But we all want them to be around social issues because we want to be able to help each other when we're going through something. We all go through things. And so one of the important things for us with the comic books is that we're there for somebody. Even if I can't, you know, be there for you personally, I want to give you something that makes you feel a little bit better when you read it or when you listen to it, you know, when it comes to music.
Right.
So we're working on music. I have a lot of great projects I'm working on right now. I actually rocking my Heroes. You'll see we did an awesome partnership with Heroes Footwear.
Nice.
For the 3rd edition. So in the 3rd edition, you'll actually see the shoes that Junior gets. So shout out to Heroes.
Those are pretty sweet.
They're cool, right?
Yeah,
I gotta get you a pair.
I like those.
Yeah, I'll get you a pair. So I told Bryan that too, but Bryan's shoes are really big. We gotta get enough material, right? So we partner with Heroes Footwear. We're doing some cool things with a clothing line called Hanu, and we just have a lot of amazing things. I'm working with AVDA in Palm Beach County, and so we actually created a teen dating violence comic book with the youth. So the youth actually developed the story, and then we helped them piece that together. And so they created their own comic book. We're doing a lot of positive hip hop. So I'm like all over the place right now, but it is the most amazing thing in the world for me to be able to do this for a living. Yeah.
All right, very cool. I know we can't ask you to freestyle. We already talked about that. So I won't ask you that. I do want to ask you though. Are you going to have any of the music or the lyrics bleed into the stories?
Yes, most definitely. So we have it in the Keep Dreaming story, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so what we want to do is we want to actually work with the youth in developing a story, and then actually creating the music for it, right? So giving them almost like a soundtrack to the comic book.
Right.
And so that's something we're
cool.
looking to do, yeah, right? And so one of the things with the youth is it teaches them about entrepreneurship. And so it teaches them how they can earn money and things of that nature. So we have some really cool stuff planned. And we'll work on that theme song for you.
All right.
You got to use it, though, right?
I'm going to hold you to that. Yeah.
So even though I'm not freestyle, I promise that we'll work on something and get you some music. And
awesome.
My thing is getting the youth involved. So it's like I'm having a lot of fun, but I want to see the youth get involved and actually have some ownership over what we have going on, right?
Right. Yeah. When you feel like you own a piece of it or the thing, it's like you're that much more into it, you know.
Yes.
So,
that's the important part, and so I think that's important when we want to create that change, as we allow them to create the change and play such a major role in the music and the books, and actually making some money and understanding how they can create a living for themselves, because a lot of people told me that this was just not possible,
right?
And now I'm doing it.
Now you're doing it.
Yeah,
it's
it's like
doing it. Exactly.
You know, it's so I want to be able to show the youth that they can do it as well, and you know, it's so much fun. Like I'm not working, right?
Exactly. We were talking about that before we started here. Living the dream.
It's a long vacation. Like this is a paid vacation right now. It's not really work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, very cool. And now, where can folks find you?
Okay.
Social, all that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always on social media. I'm hooked, so I'm addicted to social media. So you can find me on Instagram at Team Absoloot, and that's Absoloot is spelled ABSOLOOT, right? Yeah, Absoloot, right there. So Team Absoloot on Instagram. On Twitter, it is just at Absoloot, ABSOLOOT. Facebook, it's Absolute Music, and so. Like I said, or you could just Google Absoloot, you know, and comic books, all music, things come up, and email me, reach out to me, you know, ask me questions, partner with me. You know, I'm always looking to work and meet awesome people.
Right on. All right, cool. So you heard it, folks. Get this book, read it.
Get it.
Also, hit him up on all that social media he just told you, and you know, make things happen. It's a really cool story. I was really happy to be able to talk with you about this.
Man,
and your influences and inspirations. So
thanks a lot, man.
I know you got some books to read. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go read. I mean, eat.
Yeah, you're gonna go read, huh? Hungry, mentally hungry, right?
Exactly. So I will see you later.
All right, thanks so much, Jesse.